it's wonderful to have experts that you can talk to who have the experience necessary to get the job done. We're going to talk about it here. Amy and Kevin joining us in studio. Stay tuned for this one, everyone. Well, welcome everyone to Your Little Castle Show. Have the good fortune of being allowed. Parents made me go to computer classes. I think we talked about that, and they said just in case that baseball career doesn't work out, do this little TV show. So I have the good fortune to bring in experts, and we'd actually talked about having you guys on for a long time. You guys have been celebrating 40 years now doing this.
Yeah, that's 40 years.
And give it up for Kevin and Amy. But they've worked together to make this last, and a name that is renowned here in St. Louis. So thanks you guys for coming in to meet with us here to talk about it a little bit. Tell me then, first off, let me give a shout out. I'll go out to our widescreen there. But hey, Carroll House Furniture, because you like nice things in your little castle, and your little castle may have been remodeled by Agape, right?
Yes, it might have. Who knows?
There's about a 20% chance in St. Louis, if you had 40 years in business, that you guys may have had something to do with that. But with that, before we get started, I put up there on the wall, you've got a great looking Facebook page. We know who's responsible for that. And a website. And this is where you can get the information that you're talking about. So let's try to share some more information with everybody. And I'm going to zoom over here on that camera cameras are always changing and flickering, and I'm going to make some adjustments here as we go. But tell me, what led to this? How did this get started? Kevin, do you want to tell me where you got started with all this?
Gosh, I started at 15 years old. My grandfather was a retired carpenter, and he volunteered to finish my parents' basement for them. And I was playing basketball at the time. I would rush home from practice, and I'd go downstairs and work with my grandpa, and I just really loved the work. I just enjoyed the result of an hour's worth of work, and I just decided at that time I wanted to be a contractor someday. In fact, I wrote it on a stud, I want to be a contractor, and I dated it November 1969, so that if you do the math, you can figure that out.
And that led you.
Yeah. So from that point forward, every decision I made for what I'd study, what job I would take, well, we're all with the thought in mind: is this going to prepare me to be a contractor? And what I didn't tell you, Carter, is that my parents insisted I go to college. They didn't, but they felt that was the best thing for me. And so the closest thing I could find related to construction was engineering. So I chose to study civil engineering. And that's how I got my degree and eventually licensed. But when I got out of school, I worked as an apprentice carpenter, and for 4 years. And at that point, in my mind, I thought I would be ready to start my own business. But at that point, I realized how little I did know, and it was too daunting. It was very frightening for me, and frankly, I gave up on the dream. I'd been dreaming this for over 8 years or so, and now I got the opportunity, and I got cold feet.
And you had a wife and a kid on the way, and money is a good thing to have every now and then.
And a few children on the way.
Yeah. So what happened was we became Christians around this time, and there's a Bible verse that says Psalm 37:4 says, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desire of your heart." And I hadn't really thought about the desire of my heart any longer. I'd given up on this dream, so I thought, well, at least if I have this degree, let's try engineering and to see if that fits at all. And so I went to work for a consulting engineering firm for 4 years, and ended up moving back to St. Louis. And I contacted one of my old friends who was a contractor and said, "Hey, Paul, I'm moving back. I'm looking for work. Can I work for you as a carpenter?" He said, "Yeah, come on board." So I'm working for him for 6 or 8 months, and he runs out of work. He lays me off. And by this time, we joined a real dynamic church. We have 2 kids, and she's soon to have a third. And Amy decided to be a stay-at-home mom, so I have house payments to all the obligations. And I'm out of work, and I was frightened. And I said, "What do I do?" And out of the blue, I got a call from someone who had bought an old racquetball court, wanted to convert it into an office building. and he asked me if I'd be interested in the job. He needs to have someone to oversee all the day laborers that he's bringing out from the inner city. And I said, absolutely, I need work. And at the end of the week he said, well, who do I make the check out to? Because I'm not hiring you as an employee. I don't want to go through all that stuff. I'm hiring you as a subcontractor. And I thought, oh, really? You know, I just heard a sermon on agape love, which means unconditional love. It's the kind of love that God has for us, and he calls us to have for each other, which we naturally have for our kids. But the noble goal is to have love, that kind of love for other people, not just our kids. And so I said, well, why don't you make the check out to Agape Construction Company? And that's exactly how it started. And when that job rolled into another one, and voila, I'm in business for myself, and I wasn't even pursuing it. You know, it just dawned on me much later that I'm in business for myself. At the time, I was just trying to make a few bucks for my family. But
that's a great story. I mean, for those of us who do believe that there's a higher power and there's interventions that come in. I mean, we talked a little bit about my story, but coming out of a coma, they had kind of written me off. They said that I was going to be a vegetable at first, and then somebody would care for me for the rest of my life. But I just had that will, and it's kind of a similar path I went through to say, hey, never give up, and something will be delivered to you when the time is right. Yeah. I didn't get to make it as a pro baseball player, but my other things I get to do. So that led to the dream you have now. Mm-hmm. Amy, how has this worked well for you? And obviously this has turned out all right for you. Why do you think it worked?
No, I think I always had faith that Kevin would be successful at whatever he did because he's very detail-oriented, hardworking, and he's smart. And I think to run a business, you have to be those things. And he did. He just relied on the Lord. There would be Fridays where he didn't know where we were going to work on Mondays, and so he leaned on the Bible verse, Matthew 6:33, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added unto you, and the phone would ring, and work would come in. Mm-hmm. And I just believed in him. It was really never a question for me that we would be okay.
Yeah, the rest of that verse, the context of that verse is don't worry about what you're going to eat or drink or wear. Mm-hmm. God knows you need these things. So seek first His kingdom, and He'll add these things on to you. And literally, that was like manna for me. It was like I fed on that. It just gave me confidence. It gave me security. It took away the fear and anxiety. And
the thing is, when you do something well, you do it with excellence, and you put your heart and soul into it, and you have the skills and talents necessary. He started out as a carpenter builder in the field. He'd sell the job, then he'd build the job. He did it well. So from that, you get repeat business and referrals, and that really is how the business has grown for the last 40 years. Mm-hmm. That's the basis of the growth.
Yeah, I'm just kind of getting a little bit taken back, if you will. But I mean, literally, I'm thinking about my own business, and when I took the leap, as being a very successful sales guy, I'm like, why would I step out of a position that was nice income? And how many times it was a monthly, oh man, we got to get another client. We got something going on here, and I would not. The confidence you were talking about just would kick in, it seemed, and then there would be delivered another client just to keep things going. Yeah. But if you have that faith, that confidence, and those skills, all of that combination that God gives us, you can really conquer the world and help other people. I guess is that
well, and you count it as a blessing from God. You don't just think, oh, I earned that.
Right.
I mean, you realize that God blessed you with the talents and skills to be successful, and then He's the one who blesses the business. So we've always tried to give God the glory in our business.
Yeah, there's nothing we create ourselves. Everything that we've got is something that was a gift from God. That is the higher power that allowed us to have these skills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can tell you, Carter, over the years, there have been ups, peaks and valleys, ups and downs, and God has been consistently faithful in providing for us. The worst was in 2008, 2009, the recession, when everything just kind of fell apart. Our business went from churning along at 100%, and now we're down at 25%. We literally had lost 3/4 of our business, and it was scary times. And again, we prayed, asked God to provide for us, and just like He did for Jehoshaphat in the Old Testament, it's a great story in 2 Chronicles. And again, I got a call out of the blue from a banker that I had known, and he had moved to Chicago, and called and said, hey, I need someone in St. Louis to work out some of these bad loans we've got, and would you be interested in the job? I said, absolutely.
What
sure.
do they pay you per hour?
$200 per hour, and I'm all in. So at the end of a year and a half, we were net profit of about $150,000 from all the work that we did for the bank, and that was what sustained us until the market changed and picked up again. It was a miracle. It was.
These are the
A
things.
lot of my colleagues, my competitors, are went under. One guy in particular was so despondent he took his life,
Oh, wow.
and we were direct competitors.
Yeah, those are never situations that you want to see. But fortunate for you guys, there was some guidance there. There was some. What do you think it was? I'm getting a little bit off tangent here, but what were the principles that guided you that allowed for this to happen? I mean, you talked about confidence, your belief in higher power. But
I think our mission statement is to do everything as if for the Lord, to the best of your ability, with absolute honesty and the interest of others forefront in your minds. And that's kind of been the guiding principle. So, we start off giving it to God and then just doing our best. We encourage our employees to do their best. If you make a mistake, own up to it. We'll
Right.
fix it. We'll make it right. We want to own up to what we do wrong and learn from it. So I don't know. I think trying to do things the right way and with integrity, I think that blesses your business.
Yeah. I mean, when you do things as if for the Lord, I mean, because if you're not a believer, that's just not an issue. But if you do have someone you answer to, a higher power, a governor, or supreme commander, or whatever you want to call him, you want to do everything as if you're doing it for that person. And if you do those 3 bullet points to the best of our ability, which means we have a high regard for quality, and we don't cut corners.
Right.
With absolute honesty, we're not going to cheat anybody. If we didn't cost us much money, on these certain items, we'll give you the money back, not a problem. And with the interest of others forefront in our minds. So what that means, it's not just about our bottom line; it's about their needs and about their desires and their experience.
Wow, a lot we covered there. That's some great insight for people. It just seems so many people, and if it's our youth or just the systems that are in place. I don't want to get too specific. I'll get flagged for whatever. But literally, like, there's just some basic guidance that a lot of times seems to be missing because people aren't. They want to take the shortcut. They want to take the easy way. And we call it our lizard brain. It starts kicking in. If I could just go over there and take that, I can get it. Or if I can just tell them this and they'll buy it and I'll get what I need. But that's a short-term perspective, and
Yeah,
it doesn't work.
it
And,
is.
and if you want to have it's just my point is long-term. It's easier. It's more. It's a lot of work, but it lasts a lot longer. Therefore, it's less work in the long run to do it right the first time and do with integrity.
Along with that, though, I'd like to say, along with that, of doing things with quality, we've always believed that it's important to invest not only in the clients but in our employees. They're the ones providing the work. So we treat them like family,
Right.
and we try to take their needs into consideration. And if we have a good year, we bonus higher, and
Okay.
just believe in rewarding people for work done and done well.
Yes, help the people that have taken your business to that next level, because without them you wouldn't have made it, right?
Well, our 3 key people, our business manager, our production manager, and our chief operating officer, who is our former sales design manager, have all been with us over 15 years. So they've come through the business. They've done every aspect of it. So they're not just talking as head knowledge. They've actually done the work. And I think that's helpful.
Been out in the field getting it done. We're about to finish up the first half of the first interview. We're going to have you guys stick around for two half hours, if that's all right.
Okay.
Lots of we'd like to, because we've got some. It's very rare we get to have people with your background that we get to sit down with. So thank you for spending some time with us. I want to go over your reviews with you right here. Agape Construction, right? And is that the right address? Right? Is that you guys up there?
Yep.
80 reviews, a 4.4. You guys have been around for a while. You've got quite the attention of some people here. Tell me, how does it make you feel to see all these people? I mean, there's comment after comment after comment. I'll put this on the screen for people to look at. But there's just people saying good thing after good thing after good thing after good thing. How does it make you feel to have that kind of response from those in our community that you are doing work for?
It's very rewarding. I mean, obviously, it's kind of like the icing on the cake. I mean, gosh, I don't know. How would you answer that question?
Well, people make such a big investment in their home. It's like the second biggest investment after buying your home financially. And so we want to take care of that. And yeah, it's super encouraging to get the feedback later. And it's encouraging for our employees to see, hey, that mattered, that you made a good design decision, that the architect did a good job, the finished carpenter did a good job. And even when they say the job was always clean every day, we took care of their property while we were there.
Yeah. Carter, I don't know if you if you talk about this, but as a design build firm, we take the project from conception to completion. In other words, we take the initial call, and we go from design to pricing to construction to cleanup to warranty. I mean, we it's a one-stop shop. You don't have to go anyplace else. And what makes us unique is that we are truly a design build firm. We have a licensed architect on staff. We have licensed interior designers on staff. We have a licensed engineer on staff, which is me. I review all the drawings from a structural perspective and from a carpenter's perspective. And you don't have to go someplace else. In the early days, I would call on architect firms and ask to be put on their bid list, and I would spend hours preparing a very detailed proposal, and it would get dismissed in offhand almost very often. Like the customer, I can hear this. She would say, $200,000. I told the architect I didn't want to spend more than $100,000. She says, I can't do this, and so all my work is just dismissed so quickly, and it was so disheartening. And so at that point we thought we need to try a different model. This is not very.
So we kind of evolved into the design build model.
Yeah.
So people call an architect, and an architect will design what they want in theory, but they don't always pay attention to what the price is going to be. So we're working with the client all along. Now, what do you how much roughly do you want to spend? Okay, then you're going to have to dial that down.
Right.
There's no point in designing something you can't afford.
Right. So as we're designing, we're keeping the customer constantly abreast of what the cost. So you want to add X, Y, Z. Well, understand X, Y, Z is going to cost 20, 30, 30, X dollars. And are we still in here, or you want to take it back down to the initial budget? So we're constantly refining the design and the pricing concurrently, so that they're making educated decisions.
Along with the fact that once you come up with the design and you have a set of plans, then the people who designed it are building it. Because the client will say, well, I said this or I said that, and we take notes at every single meeting. There's good notes, they're given a copy of the notes, so you know what's been discussed and not discussed.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because in the early days, we built something, and thered be an architectural mistake that he made, and we would go to the client and say, this is going to cost extra money. And the client would say, wait a minute, this is a fixed price. And say, well, it's because those drawing was wrong, and the architect will say, no, he didn't. He measured it wrong. So it was this.
Right. So
now it's all one-stop shop. We're responsible.
And we own it cheerfully.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's how you run a successful business, and we are honored to have you here to talk a little bit about it. With that, we're going to get into a little bit of our fun we have out in the community. My buddy Nino, you can see he's got some special abilities, I like to say. So check out some of the fun we're having down at Patios before a Cardinals game. Giddy up.
Hey everybody, guess what? We get to have fun all the time at the Cardinal games. Before the game, we get to hang out with fun super fans. Say hello to my buddy Nino over here, Brett, Tanya, and Dixie. That's right. Everybody's in the video here. Family coming out to the game. Nino, what do you love about going to Cardinal games?
Do you love baseball?
Yeah. He loves baseball. Hey, all right. Scoring points with the Cardinal Cowboy.
Yeah,
right?
he plays Miracle League baseball.
Do you really?
And he likes to be on the Cardinals team at home.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you know how many times have you been on that team? How many times have you done that?
A lot.
That's a good answer. All right. Dad, what's it like coming to the Cardinal games with your son and your wife and all the fun you get to have down here?
Oh, it's the most fun. I mean, we've been coming since Old Bush. Now we've got New Bush Stadium. It's the best baseball town, and it's the most fun. It's fun before the game. The games are always great, and we love it.
Well, I appreciate you guys taking time here. We're at Patios, everybody. This is where the most fun is. I get to wear the full outfit here. I got the pants, the socks, the arch, Nino, Brett, Tanya, and Dixie all here, and we're outside Patios having fun. Hey, say hi to Patios. Stop on by here before a Cardinal game, and we'll see you guys soon. Nino, give me some knuckles. There we go. Go Cardinals. Giddy up.
His name is Carter Rethwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwish was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what
Everybody,
they may say.
Cardinal Cowboy here. I want to invite all of you to be part of my new team. No, you don't have to put on a baseball uniform and be a super fan. Now, it would be a good idea to cheer for the Cardinals, the greatest team in the history of the National League. But I'm talking about the Gold Cowboy team. You know, I love to help people follow their dreams and reach their goals in business and in life. So that's one of the reasons why I'm telling you about my friends at My Metal Pro. They help people like you and I acquire gold and silver with a membership that lets you safely buy, sell, and store gold and silver. They make it real easy to get started. My Metal Pro isn't like the big guys you see on network TV or the big coin shops that take a huge commission. So become part of my Gold Cowboy team. Scan the QR code or go to goldcowboy.com and check it out. Giddy up!
So, like I said, a lot of fun stuff we get to enjoy in the community and work with leaders like yourselves that, you know, kind of get what life is about, you know, and help those who need a little bit of help, but also encourage those that can, you know, do more and don't realize what they're really capable of when they've kind of given up because, you know, somebody told them they were not capable, and that's not true for anybody, I believe. So that kind of helps us to move on. With that, I can only imagine there's a lot of people who are like, well, Carter, I've seen some of the work Agape has done. They've got great photos. We can show some of those off here, but check those out on their social media and their website. Give me a little cost analysis. There's a lot of people that, we have the infamous do-it-yourselfer, of course, but I can, very often we see, and I hear from a lot of construction professionals that very often it's the people try to be too cheap and they try to cut corners. Why should somebody spend I said let's do a cost analysis, my notes say there, but why would somebody spend the money necessary and when would they save money or cut corners? How do people allocate their funds?
Well, it's interesting. Very often people think they can do things on their own, which in many cases they can, but it takes twice as long to do it, and they go through a lot of extra money repairing things or redoing things they hadn't done the first time. So if you want things done quickly and efficiently and well, then you want to hire a professional. I say the second biggest mistake is people make is they go hire an architect who is more interested in designing a monument to himself than he is a house that's
Functional or
right.
and practical. I think the other thing too with this business of cutting corners is I think very often people don't know what they don't know.
Right.
And we do mostly remodeling. So in remodeling, things are out of square and out of level. And when you're not a professional trying to make it fit and make it look good, like with those boards around the bottom and
you don't want it to look like it was like the addition was intended to be there, not a paste on after the fact. You know, so.
Yeah, this isn't a cookie cutter thing where you can just plug stuff in. They've got to have that melding of the two, old and the new, depending on whether they're in the kitchen, the bathroom, the family room.
Right.
And the truth is, remodeling costs more than new because you're blending the old systems, the HVAC, the plumbing, the electrical.
Yeah.
You're updating those systems.
It's much more challenging, but it's also more rewarding.
And then people can stay where they are, have the home of their dreams.
I love
Boom.
it. We got the tagline. I'll put that up there for everybody. That's what you. There it goes. Stay where you are. Have the home of your dreams. I mean, but what you're also doing is you're improving the value of somebody's house. When they've got a house that's become dilapidated and therefore not gaining the normal houses going up 3, 5, the last few years we've seen 7, 10%. their house isn't going to be able to keep up with the Joneses, but now you're giving them something state of the art and also latest technology, and can really add to the value of their portfolio.
Well, and I think it's important for people to know that probably the two places that you get most bang for your buck on resale value is when people update the kitchen or the master suite. Those are things that buyers look for.
Right.
So an older home that actually has those things, they're more likely to sell at a higher price.
Well, then tell me, I can imagine by now a lot of people are going, wow, these guys are on the ball, Carter. I've heard of them. Now we get to meet them and get to know them a little bit. Why should somebody choose you guys? What really differentiates you guys from the rest?
Well, we talked about it a little bit already. Our mission statement, I think, it makes us credible, unique, and also the fact that we are a true design build firm, that we take care of everything from stem to stern without blaming other people. We just take responsibility for the entire thing. And we have an extended warranty that's very, on paper we say 2 years on structural issues, 1 year on other issues, but the truth is we've gone back multiple years after the fact. If it was a workmanship issue or a mistake we made, we just take care of it.
Well, the other thing is if you hire the smaller, less expensive company, the guy who's working out of his basement, and you're doing a larger addition on your house or expanding an older home, they may not be there in a year or two to fix the problem, or they may never finish it in the first place.
Yeah.
We've done projects where they've hired somebody else, and it's like, oh my gosh, this isn't happening. They've taken our money, and they need somebody to come in and finish the job. So, it's nice to have somebody who's been in business for 40 years and has. We have like Kevin said, we do a good warranty, and we also have a handyman division that if there's other little issues, we can come and do that. I don't know.
Well, that's an important piece because we've seen the guys who made the news. I'm not going to name anybody, but I knew one of the guys, and they said, oh yeah, 1 minute they grabbed $6,000 from us, and the next minute they didn't answer the phone. And there's $6,000 and a lot of time spent. And gosh, and same way if you've got a house that's had a lot of work and there's a problem, who's going to know what to do? And somebody else will have to dig in there, and you want to have the guys who constructed that originally to help
We
you.
encourage people too to call the Better Business Bureau or check out, check the Better Business Bureau out. And we've been affiliated with the Better Business Bureau of St. Louis for years, and we've been blessed to get their Torch Award 3 times, which is for excellence in business and ethics. And I think that matters.
Yeah, I would say that's probably at least for me, it's the award that I'm most proud of, that we've been recognized over the course of, 15 years or so, that we keep getting that same award.
But we get it every 5 years. We've gotten it 3 times.
Well,
There you go.
You can only qualify for 5 years, but it's pretty stiff competition to get it.
Yeah, there's a
And
lot.
we really are grateful and honored. And
Well, stay tuned, everybody. That's the first half-hour discussion with our experts here, but they've got a lot more to share. 40 years of experience running a company, and we're going to share a little bit more of that here for the second half. Stay tuned, everyone.